All right, hello. Welcome to another episode of Herbal Highlights with Angela Buick.
And this guy, Malcolm Saunders.
Yeah, right on. So just this past weekend, Angela was doing a class, the Herd Club, which is monthly.
Every month,
Saturday of the month. It was a great little gathering. Again, second time doing it.
Yes.
Nice group. You guys are finding your flow with, intros and conversations and
every day is a
teaching.
school day, so
Yeah.
every day we do something like that. It's a new opportunity. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. It's a great group.
And then the hands-on activity, I know
Yep.
everybody enjoys. But there was one comment that came out to me directly, personally. They're like, I need to talk to you. No, it wasn't anything like that. They're like, you know what, Angela said something amazing. It really made me think. And so that's what I wanted to chat about today, this idea of community immunity. And it's in direct contrast to, do you know it's 5 years ago? Almost to the day.
I thought of that at New Year's because I was like, I remember New Year's 2020, everyone was so optimistic because they were like, 2020, we're finally going to see 2020. And boy, did we ever.
Oh, yeah, it was the year the world shut down. And, like people, and this was her comment, of just like getting so entrenched into this idea. And it was in the consciousness before, but it definitely got entrenched of just like, we got to stay away, like somebody's sick. And since then, there's all kinds of debates around germ theory, terrain theory. We're not here to talk about that. We're just here to flip a perspective on its head. And it was exactly what you said, which was?
We spread health as much as we spread illness.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right?
And in
Yeah.
fact, I thought about it, since you brought it up to me, I was like, thought about it more. I was like, actually, the fact that we're both standing here really healthy and everyone, there's more going right for you than going wrong if you're alive and awake and
Yes.
feeling relatively good. And even if you have a little tickle in your throat, there's still more going right than wrong.
And honestly, that brings up another point, because so many of us, I would say no, almost hardly anybody escape from this, like the negativity, that the press feeds you. And they made that exact same point. It's like, if you want doomsday scenario, if you want to darken your days,
Kill your grandma.
go ahead. The world is, or at least the media portrays that the world
Yes.
is full of it. But yet, if you actually just look around and you go heart to heart, person to person, you're like, you know what? People are good. Like those in our little circles, in our family, in our community, that's really what matters. That's who we
Yes.
interact with, and that's where the beauty is. And like you say, that's just brought up that reflection of if you're standing, if you're breathing, if you're smiling, so much is going right for you, and so much is right with the world. Forget what's going on politics-wise. I get it. I always like to keep in mind that circle of concern. Okay, yep, I hear it. No, but what's within the sphere of influence? What can I actually do and influence? And when we do focus on that, that's where the days are bright. Things are awesome. So,
Yeah, and it's not about burying our heads in the sand. Obviously, the world is here in all of its complexities. But I do think, our beliefs and our mindset have such an influence on the way that we feel and the way that our immunity manifests. And so you all know this, you walked into the room and someone's in a bad mood, or especially a close family member, they walk in the room and they're in a bad mood and it just kind of shifts everything. I really think everything in our bodies is like that. And so the germs, I think, are working more in our favor than not in our favor.
Right.
That's the microbiome. It's just like the entire habitat of microorganisms on us, in us, around us, is working for our benefit. And I think thinking about that is okay, it feels so much lighter and so much more pleasant.
Totally.
I love community immunity. I don't know if you heard that, but Malcolm has said, okay, let's do our video on community immunity. And I'm
sure.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's so many kind of layers to look at it. Again, we could take kind of the psychological analogy of you are the product of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. That's so true, actually, not only for your kind of your mindset, your mentality, which is your emotions, which is going to manifest physically, but your microbiome too, right? Who are you around and what are they doing? What are they striving for? How are they feeding and nourishing themselves every day? And that on a positive level, but then again on that kind of shared microbiome level too.
Absolutely. There's a lot of studies now coming out, and I want to find more because I keep seeing, one member of the family gets diabetes, the person, especially the person that they're closest to, usually their spouse, has a higher chance of getting diabetes or heart disease or all these other things. But I'm more interested in like, okay, well, what are you sharing that is actually improving each other's health?
Yeah.
And so I want to do a deep dive into this now, because now I'm fired up about finding out more and changing the narrative a little bit around not how do we support our spouses and our partners and our loved ones and everyone in our community with our own health. How can maintaining your own health actually be a really great service to the people that you're surrounding yourself with?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
What other kind of mechanisms of influence are you think are happening, right? There's kind of like the role modeling, there's the being an inspiration for others, there's the kind of the emotional state of like just positive, like feeling good, looking on the bright side. There's that kind of transference of microbiome.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else do you think? Like, is there, again, I guess that's more microbes, right? We often think like, I'm getting like, bugs and germs, and that's going to take me out. And it's like, well, what else could be transferring between, two people or a group of people?
Yeah, I mean, we transfer food, herbs. I mean, this is the business we're in, right? We're doing Herbal highlights. Yeah. It's like, how can we like share? This is why we share plant medicine, and we want you all to know how to create your own plant medicine, because they also have a whole microbiome that they can share with us and influence. And so they bring in that diversity. A healthy microbiome is a diverse microbiome. So are you going to different places in your city even, Are you going out into the forest? Are you also hanging out with people at different, different locations? And
Yeah, and it comes back to that, like, there's
healthy promiscuity. Sorry, that was a thing that came into my head.
But there's within a vibe, there's an atmosphere, right? Is it kind of dark and dingy and dirty, or is it kind of bright and light and full of negative ions and that kind of thing?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's my
Okay, well, another thing I picked up on there too is like the idea of sharing plant medicine. So I did How to Be Your Own Herbalist.
Yes.
The 5-fold path, and one of them that came out, which was like an addition, it's like the 6th, is this idea of like sharing the herbs, and there was one lady, she's like, oh my gosh, like, yes, ever since I learned how to make my own salves, I've been gifting them, this kind of thing. And
we do this with kombucha scobies.
Right.
They're like, kombucha SCOBY in your home is great. Give it to someone else. Now it's going to have a kind of shared microorganism type milieu that you can really embrace.
Yeah, and love the idea of how herbs are a way to kind of bring in chemistry, like chemical diversity, right? The phytochemistry, like our food supply. One of the reasons like we're all into this world is because, and why I got into it and started this place is because like there was that saying, you go into the average grocery store and there's about 12 species, en masse, like, and most of them are wheat, corn, soy, and then a few kind of vegetables on the side, and everything else
even
is
the cruciferous vegetable. Like, I have a lot of people, I'm like, I have clients and I'll be like, write down what you eat, like how many plants are you eating in a day, or how many types of food are you eating in a day? And they're like, oh, I've got like 10 different things, but every one of those foods was in the cruciferous family. And it's like, oh, well, those are all kind of actually quite similar. So how can we branch out? And in the winter it can be difficult because we live in Alberta. It's minus 1,000 right now. So, and we want to eat local as much as we can, supporting our local producers, but also, local food is, again, that microbiome. It's suited to you. And it's hard to do that. Like, there's a lot of, especially if you're not a meat eater, this is very challenging.
Right.
This is where herbs shine.
Really shine and excel. Yeah, you're getting kind of diversity, uniqueness of genetics and their expression and their phytochemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then ferments, that would be another role that plays in. Like taking that produce of the summer harvest, fall, preserving it.
Yep.
Microbiologically.
Yeah, absolutely. And that the ferments are really wonderful too, because now they're bringing in so much more like microorganisms that can help nourish us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a particular energy to ferments. There's like a soury kind of that our bodies actually really need this time of year.
Right.
So it's we could go on and on about the benefits of this for sure.
Yeah. Well,
but diversify. Community immunity.
Connect. Yeah, build that resilience within yourself, within your community. Focus on the light, focus on the positive, and enjoy life. So much is going right for you. You could focus on the negative, but there's so much to be thankful for, be grateful for. So, share this with someone who needs to hear this message, and enjoy your beautiful day.
Till next time.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.